of appreciating the Sheish Mitzvos Tmidios, understanding how we can use each of the 6 constant mitzvahs to do better in our lives from a spiritual standpoint and even from a physical standpoint. How I can use Hashem's 6-point plan for greater success in my life. So we're up to mitzvah number 5. Now, the last mitzvah was mitzvah number 4, which was Ahavas Hashem to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that was really, really powerful and very, very positive. If you haven't heard it yet, go back and listen to that one, because you really need that one to understand this one. Because mitzvah number 5 is Yiras Hashem. Please don't leave the room. Don't turn off the machine. We will cope with this, and it's going to be okay. What is the mitzvah of Yiras Hashem? So many people say fear of God. Fear of God is disempowering. Ahavas Hashem was empowering, but fear of God is disempowering. What am I supposed to do? Sit underneath the table and cower before God all the time? Relax. That's not what it is. Every one of us understands that fear can be extremely liberating and extremely powerful if you really, really understand it. In fact, there's a terrible disease that ravages humankind. It's called alcoholism. It's an always fatal disease if it lasts long enough. The alcoholic really has 2 choices in life. The choice is whether or not to develop a very healthy fear of the disease and make sure he shuts out alcohol from his life completely, or to choose to have alcohol around all the time. And then the only challenge he has is whether he takes the first drink, because after he takes the first drink, he no longer has bechira. The smart alcoholic takes that bottle, puts it in a safe, locks it up, loses the combination, takes the safe and surrounds it with a heavy chain with a big padlock on it, takes the safe, the chain, the lock of the padlock, puts it in the sub-basement of a house on the side of the street that he never walks again for the rest of his life, and then he can achieve the same as anyone else. But if you keep the nonsense around all the time in your life, what's going to happen is eventually you're going to cave in and fall. Why keep the nonsense around in your life? If you're going to be an athlete, if you're going to be a jogger, if you're going to be a runner, if you're going to be a champion athlete in any manner, shape, or form, you probably shouldn't be eating a lot of bad foods. So imagine someone who's training for a triathlon and his freezer is stocked with ice cream and his pantry with cakes. I mean, what do you expect? If someone's really serious about being a champion, then what you do is you get that nonsense out of your life. You go to a very Spartan cabin somewhere in the woods, and that's where you train, and that's where you can do what you need to do without any of the nonsense interfering in your life. It's the same thing in our own lives. Yiras Hashem is, what do you really want in life? Don't we really want to have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Aren't we all searching for that Ahavas Hashem? But what could get in the way? What can get in the way is the things Hashem said not to do. If we keep those nisyonos around us all the time and we're not taking steps to limit them in any way, then at some point we lose the relationship, chas v'shalom. Every one of us has to recognize the weaknesses that we possess, understand them well, develop a healthy sense of fear of those weaknesses, and then put into place what we need to put into place to make sure they don't take us away from the prize in life, which is a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every single one of us has that obligation, and it's constant. What does it mean to be constant? I'm going to give you a mashal using a car. A car has a gas pedal. And the gas pedal of your car, when you press the gas pedal, it gives you tremendous energy. It gives you a tremendous amount of energy. You open the window and you put the pedal to the metal, as they say, and the wind's blowing through your hair. It's absolutely amazing. It's a tremendous amount of energy. But there's another part in your car which is at least as important, if not more important, called the brakes. If you didn't have brakes in your car, then when you hit the pedal and you went, you would be going and going and going, perhaps right into someone else's living room or even your own. So therefore, what is very important is to have the gas pedal, the Ahavas Hashem, get energized, but at the same time you have to balance it with the brakes. The brakes are Yiras Hashem. These are twin mitzvahs that must be exercised all the time together. So they have to work absolutely together. When is the time to figure out that you need brakes? When do you first step on the brake when you get into a car? So most people will say when you get to a stop sign, and that's not correct. Most cars today, in order to put it into gear, you have to step on the brake. Why? Because the time to find out that your brakes are deficient is before you leave your house. If at that point the brake pedal travels all the way down to the ground, you're not going anywhere today. You make sure you bring your car into the shop. The wrong time to find out that your brakes are not working is when you're going downhill at 90 miles an hour and there's an 18-wheeler stopped right in front of you. That's the time you don't want to know that your brakes are not working. So what we do is we're constantly testing our brakes. Get into the car, put into gear, you step on the brakes. As you pull out of the spot, your foot's on the brake. As you come to the first stop sign or red light, your foot's on the brake. If during any of those times you recognize the brakes are inefficient or they're just not working at all, you take the car into the shop. The same thing with us. Yes, you begin with a ahava. Ahava comes first, it's number 4. Yira is number 5. So you wake up in the morning, beautiful. I'm alive, I got hands, I got feet. Count your blessings. Right away you counter with Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem. We relate immediately to our Yira, because ahava without Yira is not really effective, and Yira without ahava certainly is not effective at all. We must have both in good working order all the time. Test them regularly. Pay attention to them. Make sure that you get your brakes serviced all the time. How do you get your Yira serviced all the time? Every day. A little bit of Musar, a little Pirkei Avos, something. But you have to pay attention to it. Because if we ignore the brakes, or if we ignore, on the other hand, the Ahava, we cannot have an effective life. Ahava and Yira together gets you to where you want to go in life.